Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavatveshinim. Oh, O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters, O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and recently we concluded the reading of 13th chapter, the Kshetrajna Vibhag Yoga, in which Sri Krishna very beautifully explained to us all those intricacies, all those details about this field which comes into existence through Prakriti's efforts. And Prakriti in turn is projected by that Paramatattva, the Paramapurusha, the Paramatman, the Brahman, Parabrahman. And Sri Krishna very clearly told us how each one of us we can attain to that knowledge of Kshetrajna. What are different ways? First of all, he described us what is this Kshetra, how it comes into effect because of all those 24 cosmic principles, the 24 tattvas in this entire creation. He told us about the five sense organs, five senses, and then the internal faculties, and then all the Panchamahabhutas. Everything, all these 24 cosmic principles put together, they create this creation. Having created the creation, now the beings are created. All these diverse beings are created from that same principle. For that matter, they are all they exist under the same tree. For that matter, under the shade of that same tree, we are all part of that same huge entity, the Paramatman. Paramatman is dwelling in all of us. We are existing within the realm of the Paramatman. There is no realm away. I mean, my realm is not different from your realm. Your realm is not different from some other's realm. The space, our realm of existence is same for all. For all the kshetras that have been created in this, that were created, that are created, that are going to be created till the dissolution of this creation. So that is a very important, significant point. Sri Krishna taught us that how to realize that unity in diversity. We all are diverse creatures. We all are diverse beings. But there is one thread which has tied up all these beads together in the form of this beautiful creation. And then Sri Krishna says, whatever comes into being in this creation is because of the union of this kshetra and the kshetrajna. Because the kshetra and kshetrajna come together, this entire creation is there. If they don't come together, there is no creation. Then we don't exist at all. And then Sri Krishna, finally, he told us in that 13th shloka that one who understands this, one who understands this distinction between the kshetra and the kshetrajna, what is the purpose, how they come into existence. When one understands this, when one gets this realization through the eye of knowledge, through that jnana chakshusha, then that but then that person, he is emancipated, he is liberated from the prakriti of beings. And such individuals, such seers, such aspirants, they reach the supreme. That's what Sri Krishna taught us in that ultimate 34th shloka of the Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. He had told, Kshetra Kshetrajna Yorevam Antaram Jnana Chakshushaha. With the eye of knowledge having opened, those who get this realization of the distinction between the field and the knower of the field, between the kshetra and the kshetrajna, between the body and the paramatman, who gets to know that knowledge, who realizes that distinction. Bhuta prakritim moksham cha ye viduryanti te param. They perceive, they who perceive this distinction between the body and the Atman. Body is a fragile thing. It is going to go, but it is the Atman which ever remains changeless, which is Anadi, which is Trigunatita. Krishna has told us that why Atman doesn't get affected by any of the things happening in the creation. Because Atman is Trigunatita. Atman is beyond the three gunas, which actually are the culprits for that matter. These three gunas, the sattva, rajas, tamas, they are the culprits in creating this confusion in our minds, in putting that veil of ignorance created by the Mahamaya. So Sri Krishna says, those who know this, those who realize this ultimate truth, what is the distinction between this kshetra and the kshetrajna? What is kshetra? What is kshetrajna? They bhuta prakriti moksham. They get liberated. They get liberated from this prakriti, from this creation, which is nothing but combination of different, the universal principles, the pancha mahabhuta. Bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye viduhu yanti te param. And they reach the ultimate stage. They attain their goal. They attain becoming one with the Supreme. So that was a very enlightening 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita that Sri Krishna had told us, has taught us, and he has given us a direction as to what we should be aiming for. And he told us you can attain this through any of the paths, through any of the paths that you choose, whether it is a path of meditation, whether it is a path of knowledge, whether it is a path of yoga, or whether it is a path of devotion. All these paths, the dhyana, the jnana sankhya, the yoga and the karma also, and bhakti, they all lead you, take you over to the same goal, same destination, same ultimate, the pinnacle of this spiritual journey. So now let us come to the 14th adhyaya. Now, Sri Krishna is a very, very, very brilliant teacher for that matter. He told us why Atman doesn't get, entangled. Like we beings, we are entangled in everything that we do. We get entangled in everything surrounding us. We have got all those attachments. We have got all those likings, dislikings, the affection, the hatred, the jealousy. All those things, they happen with us because of the sattva, rajas, tamas. Now, Sri Krishna is going to explain to us further about these three culprits, the sattva, rajas, tamas. And therefore the 14th adhyaya is designated as Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the discrimination of these three gunas, the deeper understanding of these three gunas. So here we start Atha Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of the distinction between or discrimination over the three gunas. śrībhagavānuvāca. Paraṃ bhūyaḥ pravakṣyāmi jñānānāṃ jñānamuttamam yajjñātvā munayaḥ sarve paraṃ siddhimito gatāḥ. Sri Krishna says, now my dear child, I am going to tell you, I shall tell you about that knowledge which is best among all the knowledges around. Whatever field of knowledge is there, the knowledge that now I'm going to share with you is the supreme most knowledge. Paraṃ bhūyaḥ pravakṣyāmi. Paraṃ bhūyaḥ is supreme. Again, bhūyaḥ is again. Again, I'm going to tell you, I shall tell you. Pravakṣyāmi paraṃ jñānānāṃ. I shall tell you about that supreme knowledge. Jñānānāṃ jñānamuttamam. That supreme knowledge which is the supreme most, which is the best among all the knowledges that you can find around. Yajjñātvā munayaḥ sarve paraṃ siddhimito gatāḥ. Yat jñātvā, having known which. Yat jñātvā munayaḥ sarve, all the seers, all those realizers, all those who have the munis who have performed austerities to know that knowledge. Having jñātvā, having gained that knowledge, all those munis, paraṃ siddhimito gatāḥ, they crossed over. They attained to the perfection, siddhim. They attained to the perfection. Which kind of perfection? Paraṃ, the supreme most perfection, which is itaha, after this life. After this life, they have attained to the supreme most state of realization, perfection. So this is what now Sri Krishna has started on his own, telling us about more about the three gunas. And Sri Krishna sums it up about this entire chapter in this shloka as, I'm going to tell you this knowledge, which is the best among all the knowledges. I shall again declare that supreme knowledge, the best of all forms of knowledge, by knowing which all the sages, all the munis, all the seers have passed from this world to the highest perfection. They have attained to the ultimate enlightenment. The sages who have been blessed with self-knowledge have nothing else to gain. Their entire effort was to know more about, more deeply about the kshetra and kshetrajna, and that they learned. And now Sri Krishna is telling us, I am also going to tell you that knowledge. I am going to share with you that knowledge which has taken all these sages to the ultimate pinnacle of perfection, having left this world. And this supreme knowledge has already been explained. All along Sri Krishna has explained this knowledge of how to attain to the Brahmajnana, how to become a Brahmajnani. And Sri Krishna, he is an untiring teacher. He never gets tired of repeating the same teachings again and again till he is sure, he is confident that his students have grasped the matter well. His perseverance, his patience has no comparison for that matter. So again and again Sri Krishna is telling us, do this, get to know this, and like those sages, like those realized souls, like those enlightened ones, you will also cross over this cycle of birth and death when the time comes for your departure from this world, like those grand sages. Still, it is again delineated from another angle. While Brahmajnana is the easiest to acquire for those who have purified their minds, it is hardest and the least understood for those whose minds are steeped into worldliness. And therefore Sri Krishna again and again, he knows his children, his students, his pupils, they are not in that category that easily they can cross over, that easily they can get into that state of enlightenment. And therefore, tirelessly, with great patience, Sri Krishna is again and again explaining the same truth from different perspectives now. So, it therefore requires to be presented in as many ways as possible. The same truth, the same teaching. Now Sri Krishna is telling in so many different ways. He told us in the form of Sankhya Yoga, he told us in the form of Dhyana Yoga, he told us in the form of Karma Yoga, he told us in the form of Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Then he showed us in the form of the Vibhuti Yoga, and then that Vishwarupa Darshan also he gave to Arjuna, giving him that special divine sight. And then when Arjuna was terrified, he told him about the grand bhakti that one can develop in the mind to attain to that state of universal, the vision of that universal form, to through the vision of our beloved ones. Since Arjuna was terrified finally of that universal form, then Arjuna requested, you come back to me in that form, you appear before me in that form which I love most, to which I have devoted. And then Krishna had given that discourse on the Bhakti Yoga in the 12th chapter. Then Sri Krishna told that that is not just sufficient. Bhakti is, yes, it is the easiest path, but you should also know about how this creation has come into effect. And then he told us about the Kshetrajna. There also he imparted such great knowledge to us. And now in this 14th Shloka, 14th Adhyaya, again, he is imparting this knowledge to us in it with a different perspective. Now he is going to tell us something different from what he has told earlier. But even that knowledge, the ultimate aim of that knowledge is, of course, the liberation, is paraṃ gatim, reaching the ultimate supreme destination. The votaries of Brahmajnana are designated as munis. Perfection is theirs to the extent they make progress in this knowledge. While the advanced Brahmajnanis are ever perfect in themselves, their bodily existence often puts on apparent defects. All these jnanis, they had their own defects also, no doubt about it. But then they overcame those defects. They overcame with those the defects with the help of the different paths that they choose to get that ultimate enlightenment. And that knowledge now Sri Krishna is going to tell us. The limits of the kshetra ought not, however, be imputed to the kshetrajna or the self. Yes, the kshetra has limitations. Even the seers, even the great enlightened souls, they had at one point of time some kind of defects, but they overcame it. And that is how Sri Krishna wants us to overcome the defects, which is keeping us away from the knowledge of the Kshetrajna. But since this error is committed frequently, self-knowledge requires to be expounded repeatedly in a variety of ways. So that is what Sri Krishna has done to start with this 14th Adhyaya that he has told us. I am going to share with you that knowledge which is considered to be the supreme most. And with the help of that knowledge, the enlightened ones, the realized souls, the munis, the sages, the seers, they have crossed over, they have got reached the ultimate pinnacle of perfection, of liberation when they have left life. Let us see what Sri Ramakrishna says on this. Knowledge pertaining to Ishvara is the real knowledge. Yes. And this is what Sri Krishna is going to give us now. He told us, I am going to give you the ultimate knowledge, the supreme most. Sri Ramakrishna says knowledge pertaining to Ishvara is the real knowledge. Branches of arts and sciences, logic, grammar, learning such as these usually confuse the understanding instead of clarifying it. No subject has any end for learning. Whether we take subjects of arts, whether we take subjects of science, whether we take the subjects like logic and grammar, they can't take us God word. They can give us some knowledge about this phenomenal world, nothing beyond that. All these sciences, all these art subjects, they can make us know about this creation itself, about the field only, not about the kshetrajna. They have got this limitation. And Sri Ramakrishna says, at times these subjects, they create a sort of confusion rather than bringing the clarity of what is our end goal, instead of clarifying it. Sacred books often function as shackles that prevent free thinking. Even the scriptures, for that matter. If one is more scripture oriented, reading Upanishads and just thinking, it can kind of put a break. It can put a break for their onward journey. It can be a shackle for their free thinking. They cannot then go beyond that. They will only be thinking about the words that are given in the scriptures. They cannot go beyond that. All learning is good if it can ever guide man God word. Any amount of learning which takes a man God word, which takes us God word, that learning has got some utility. Sri Ramakrishna says that learning is good. But any other learning which gives you understand what is logic, what is grammar, what are the subjects in arts like psychology and philosophy and all those things, economics, the science subjects, physics, chemistry, mathematics, all these things, they have limitations of imparting the knowledge pertaining only to the kshetra. Kshetra they cannot go. It will take long time for these sciences, for these subjects to reach that level. But it is only the knowledge of the kshetrajna that can take us forward. So this Sri Krishna is going to tell us in a different way the same knowledge that he has shared earlier. Now he is going to further share with us. He is going to further make us understand the same concept through different perspective. In this Gunatraya Vibhag Yoga, the 14th Adhyay. So that is just for our start of this Adhyay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.